The Star Wars sequel trilogy. That kicked off with The Force Awakens back on December 18th, 2015. Last Jedi came out December 15th, 2017. The Rise of Skywalker came out December 20th, 2019. So I found this article over on CBR. This is dated back on June 28th, 2021 by George I'll just try. Screw it.
George Pullman.
George Butiritsas. So we're going to go. He's 10 things here of why this trilogy makes no sense. Number 1. We'll count it down. Number 10. If Luke wanted to be left alone, why did he give R2-D2 half the map?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be going into super detail on these ones because I want to help out CBR. I mean, I don't think they need my help because they're way bigger than I am. But if you like this article, go check it out and you can actually go read into the details. And Frank, I just want your opinion on some of the stuff when we get to it.
Yeah.
Number 9, using the dagger to point to Sidious's Wayfinder on the Death Star is absurd.
Well, yeah, I don't. What was the point of that whole thing? What was the point of that whole movie?
I don't know.
What was the point of the second and the third movie?
I don't know.
Don't get me started. Don't get me talking amongst yourself.
Well, no. The whole point is we're getting you started.
No, I know. God, I could go off. I could tell you about that second movie and how me and my friend walked out of it going, what the fuck was that?
If Force ghosts can still use the Force in the physical world, why aren't they helping more?
Yeah, that threw me off when he catches the friggin' thing and you're like, he's a ghost. Why is he catching shit?
Yep.
Or why is he showing up 30 years younger, half a light year away from the planet he's on, losing to emo frickin' Darth Vader?
The Holdo maneuver breaks space battles.
Yep. Yeah, I know that's like the biggest gripe, that should have never happened, and I agree. That was pretty, because why not? Why can't you just do that in every battle you're in now? Just send a spaceship high speed and just destroy everything.
Yep.
What's the point of even using lasers?
Yeah, and it even puts in here, it's like, why not just do that? Get some droid controlled ships and just run them into all the other ships. Just crash them.
Or fly it straight at the Death Star.
Chasing the Resistance fleet made no tactical sense.
Exactly. Yep. Plus the way you ever notice when they were shooting at them, it's like arching. It's like, how is it arching in space? How is the lasers arching in space to shoot at the rebels? Like, wouldn't it just be going straight at it?
Yeah.
Because it's a flat space. It's not a round space.
And this is kind of the point right here is that if they were following them, why wouldn't they just call in a couple of Star Destroyers to light speed just slightly ahead?
In front of them? Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
The Knights of Ren simply forgot they could use the Force.
That, and they were no part. They were like hyped up in the first movie, and then they were flashbacks, and that was it. It was nothing there.
I believe the comic book does them a little bit of justice, though. They're actually, and that's where I've gotten into reading the Star Wars comic books because they were actually, following storylines and made sense. Which, by the way, I haven't seen Skeleton Crew yet. I think I might be completely tapped out on Star Wars stuff, man.
I think there was one. I don't know if they're still doing it, but I think at one point there was like a Disney Plus series that they were going to do the Knights of Ren, like explaining where they came from and how they became. But I don't know if that's happening anymore. But yeah, what a disservice to that group.
Their best bet is going to be to completely ignore these trilogies and act like, and you can keep the characters obviously, but act like they're not canon. You have to. They're just garbage. Rey's parents shouldn't have been able to escape Exegol.
Well, the whole story with her parents was just stupid. The first movie sets it up to where you can make it Luke, or you can make her a descendant of Obi-Wan, or whoever you want. And you have a story preset, and then you just kind of... You have the second movie where Emo Vader goes, they were just idiots and nobody cares for him.
He's slamming his lightsaber. Oh, dude, Snoke. Oh, what the hell was that?
And then And then the third one, oh yeah, by the way, your grandfather was the emperor, and your family, he had kids, and they had you, and you're a Palpatine.
Can you imagine him just like having sex? Something semen. It is said that shields don't work within a planet's atmosphere, even though they do. Number 2, Palpatine wants Rey to kill him so he can take over her body, but doesn't do it when it happens.
Yeah. Maybe it was because he was a clone and he was defective.
Who knows?
I don't. And I love how like they're trying to like save that whole story in the Mandalorian series, where they started getting into the like cloning aspect of that. But it's like, let's just not even worry about it anymore. There's no way to save that. Just let's move away from that.
And finally here from CBR.com, Anakin could have just told Luke where to find his Sith Wayfinder.
Yeah, it's like, do they have like a certain amount of time they can use their Force Ghost, or is it like a battery, they just run out of power and stop showing up? Or
by the way,
it's never explained.
I am glad that it's showing this picture of Anakin Skywalker, because I've had showing up on social media here about how that created a whole loophole where you have old Obi-Wan and Yoda, and then you have a young Anakin. There's a way around where it's
disservice to the actor.
Well, it was a disservice to the guy who originally played Vader, but the way that I always saw it, and the way that they've kind of portrayed it, is that Anakin Skywalker technically died when he became Darth Vader.
Yeah.
That would be what he looked like when he did die. I mean, that was that. I mean, I shouldn't have to make up stuff like this for a franchise that I love, but
But even then, in Revenge of the Sith, like, they did not help that cause by him just going, okay, yes, Anakin's dead, I'm now Vader. Like, they could have done something a little, like, they could have had like him falling out of a window and needing to be like hitting his head, or needing to be saved, or some, just by having him go, yes, Anakin's dead. I mean, okay.
No, but see, I like that in the Obi-Wan series. When in the big battle,
I have issues with that series.
And Obi-Wan's just beating the piss out of him with the lightsaber, and it busts open his helmet, and he admits, he's like, "You didn't kill Obi-Wan, or you didn't kill Anakin.
Right.
I did." But, and that is something that I did always kind of believe a little bit, was the fact that it wasn't when he was Darth Vader, he no longer was Anakin Skywalker.
I thought that fight scene was awesome. It was great. But the thing that I don't like about that series was the way Sith ends and The New Hope begins. It's like that 16-year, 17, whatever year period. And you were kind of left to believe that Obi-Wan just went there, sat in a desert, and just chilled. Now, of course, you had comics and whatever where he did other things. But then that series comes along, and again, like, he's not supposed, like, Leia's not supposed to know really who he is, the way it's done in Hope. Like, she's like, you worked with my father, please,
Yep.
And he's not supposed to have seen Vader. Vader thinks he's dead because he hadn't seen it. But then that series comes along, and he's riding around the universe with Leia, and she's somehow going to forget who he was 8 years later, and then, Vader just, oh yeah, I fought him, but he didn't die. But I know he's probably dead now. And it's just, I didn't like the loopholes that created in that series with A New Hope and what came after.
You know who I blame?
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yes, 100%. Kathleen Kennedy, dude. She butchered the shit out of the Star Wars entire franchise.
Yeah, they just created so many loopholes with all this new stuff. It's not, and you didn't have to.
Yeah. No,
it
could have been done properly, and it's like, I can't tell if they got lazy or if they overthought it, because I think it felt like at points they were like, we don't want to do things that the fans can't anticipate, or we have to throw them a curveball, or like, but then we also have to include all these other things that people enjoy. It was like, we gotta.
Well, I think with the sequels that came out recently, I think Abrams had an idea of what he wanted, But then they went to the other
Ryan Johnson?
director, and he was just like, screw it, and brought in his own story. Which that's fine. If you want to do your own story, then do your own trilogy somewhere. But don't. It was basically a new movie inside the trilogy, and it was just the whole thing was screwed up. And it's you guys could have just, if you guys would have talked it out, you could have made a story that flowed so much better. But instead, you have J.J. Abrams' story, and then you have him going, screw J.J., I got my own. And then J.J. has to try to take all that bullcrap from both movies and form something out of it in the third one, and it just became a huger pile of bullcrap.
He's taking all this horse pucky out there.
Anyway, Kathleen Kennedy.